This is Corsair Conversations. I'm Glenn Zucman in the Santa Monica College Caton Center, here with Associated Students President Isabel Rodriguez. President Rodriguez, welcome to Corsair Conversations.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, a few weeks ago we had elections for next year's student government, including your successor, which means that it was just a little bit over a year ago when you ran for office. Can you talk about how you decided to run for office? Was it something you'd planned for a long time, a sudden decision?
So that's a funny question. I actually, in my first semester at SMC, I became a commissioner for AS, and I hated it. Hated. I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't understand the concept of a student government because we don't have that back in my home country. But then time passed, and I had a couple of leadership experiences, and I completely loved it. And AS seemed like the perfect thing to kind of like wrap all that leadership up. And the one thing that made me want to run for office was one of my best friends had to go back to her country because she couldn't afford the tuition at SMC anymore. They kept raising it. And at that point I was like, I think I'm a person that I'm willing to take action and I'm willing to speak up for students. So at that point it was when I decided that if I was going to stay a third year at SMC, I was going to run.
So now you're in the election, and how do you campaign? What issues are you presenting to the students? What are you thinking about? And given that only in this last election, only 8% of the campus voted, how do you even know who to appeal to?
Right. The elections is a very stressful time. They try to tell you, come up with a mission, right? Come up with a mission. And it's very hard to know what you're able to do or not when you're running. It's really when you're in the office when you see the scope of your power, right? So when I was running, I thought I could influence whether the trustees would raise the tuition or would not. Something that I know I can't. I don't have a vote, right? Not even the student trustee, they have an advisory vote on that. So my main thing was I want to hear what students are saying. I want to make sure that my board, and especially myself, I'm out there for the students and that every voice is heard. Obviously, every voice is impossible to be heard, but most students that I could hear and see what they wanted, right? So that was my main thing. Who I approached, social media was very, very important. That SMC and official Facebook group, that was something that every time people are running, we target that. And clubs. The people that are more involved are the people that are going to vote. Exactly. And then classes. Some days I would have no voice by the end of the day because I would speak like 13 lecture halls, things like that. Stop people in the quad. It's just everybody that you can get to vote for you, right? So, but definitely the people that are more involved, those are the ones that you try to convince.
And then you win. So do you wake up one morning and see the results, or how did you find out, and what did you think?
So I really didn't think I was going to win because to me I was very focusing a lot on my midterms, which happened at the same time last year. So at some point there were 2-3 days that I could not campaign at all, and my opponent Daniel, I saw him everywhere. So I was like, I'm not going to win this at all. So I didn't even come to the election meeting on that Friday when the results were coming out. And then one person from my slate, she calls me, I'm in bed literally, and she's like, we won. Like everybody but one person from our slate won. And I was like, are you serious? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, what was the difference? I won by 19 votes.